Hello, I'm Charlie Guest, and I'm playing Wishee Washee in Aladdin at Croydon Fairfield Halls this year. It's going to be a spectacular show. Aladdin's one of the best, so make sure you book your tickets. I'm very excited to get started. It's nearly Christmas.
Yes. And then going back to your beginning, really, to start
Yes.
this, where did your kind of performing journey begin and what kind of inspired you to want to perform?
Well, my performing journey kind of started at school, really, at high school. Did a few shows there, started doing theatre classes on a Saturday and realised, oh, I quite enjoy this. Not necessarily was very good at it, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And then was lucky enough to go to a fantastic sixth form college in Woking. And their theatre department was amazing, really, and they just gave me the confidence and pushed me to go and audition for drama school. And then I went to drama school, did musical theatre for 3 years, and then went out into the big wide world of theatre. And it's been wonderful ever since, really. Lots of pantos, touring shows in London, all around the country and in Asia, everywhere. It's been spectacular, really. I'm very, very lucky.
Yes. And then for pantomime wise, kind of, did you see pantomimes when you were growing up? Was that kind of part of your life?
Yes, well, every year we used to go and watch the panto. I just loved it. It's just bonkers silly. It's right up my street for sense of humour. Anything that's a little bit rubbish that happens to the characters, or something goes horrendously wrong, or people forgetting their lines, or falling over, fart jokes, any of that.
Yeah,
That's my sense of humour.
of course. And as you say, Aladdin this year, one of the kind of the big ones, as it were.
Yes.
You're playing Wishee Washee.
Uh-huh.
What's that like? Obviously, when you're the comedian, is the pressure to be the comedian when you're taking on the panto?
Well, it's really difficult. I mean, this is Panto number 10, I think, this year, 10 or 11. I can't remember. I've lost track. But
Yeah.
playing the comic is slightly different in each Panto title. And Wishee Washee is one that I've never done before. So this is one of the last
Yeah.
to tick off on my Panto go list. But it's more important that you play the character, and the idea being that Wishee Washee, or whether it's Buttons or whether it's whoever, is that point of contact with the kids and the younger members of the audience. Maybe gives a little bit of humor for the grown-ups as well, thrown in there if they can
Yes.
spot it. But first and foremost, it's about driving the story of Panto, and then having the supporting cast, which I always consider myself part of, outside of the main storyline, to pick up the fun and keep the pace going and make sure everyone has lots of laughs.
And how much freedom do you kind of have with it to push it?
Ooh, the amount of freedom you're allowed and the amount of freedom you end up having by the end of the run,
Yeah,
two
yeah.
very different things. But I think it's very important to start off nice and strong and keep the show nice and quick. But if there's a golden opportunity to cause some mischief with the other cast members or somebody in the audience, then obviously it's in our DNA to take it.
And then would you, if something worked, say one performance, would you then try it again the next performance, or will you kind of just see how it goes, kind of ad lib?
It depends. It can be very, very easy in a panto to make it a joke that nobody understands. Something that's
Yeah.
funny that's happened on the first night may have been funny because of three other things that have also happened that night. So it's totally unique, really. It's very, very rare that we'll recycle those moments, purely because if we're going to break out of our story and out of the script, I say
Yeah.
script. Um, I've seen the script for this year. It's really great. It's one of the best ones I've done. So I'm very excited.
Do you prepare any differently for a pantomime room? Obviously, the intensity of kind of 4 or 5 weeks of 2 shows a day.
I mean, you've got to look after yourself in the build up to rehearsals. Rehearsals are probably the most intense part
Yeah.
because we're all just dying to get in front of an audience. So rehearsals where you have to get it all together, make sure it's nice and tight and very regimented, and everybody knows exactly what they're doing. And those days are slightly longer, and you might end up running the show multiple times in those days. Whereas on show days, you get the bonus of only doing it once or twice, or sometimes maybe 3 times, and you get the audience feedback as you go. So that's enough energy to keep anybody going for the day, I think, really. I may be speaking out of turn for some actors, but it does get quite exhausting, and it is pretty full on. But it is just that sheer joy. As soon as you hear the audience getting involved and you know they're on board, you could go for 4 or 5 runs.
Yes. And obviously, you yourself have performed in shows like Room on the Broom,
Yes.
Gruffalo.
Yeah.
How important is it to engage that younger audience member?
It's just it's quite simple, really. If you don't have a younger audience that enjoy theatre, then by the time they get to grown-ups, nobody's coming. So it
Yes.
is really, really, really important. And I know it's almost become a cliche now in any interview or press about Panto that it's the first experience of children in theatre, but it genuinely is. And that's kind of what we're here for. But most importantly, aside of the festivities of the time of year and all those sorts of other elements, it's just an opportunity, and we need an excuse really to get the whole family together to come and watch something and be entertained, hopefully for the whole thing, and especially for younger audience members to keep them engaged. The formats of pantos and the silly jokes and the songs and the comedy scenes and all those sorts of things, and lots of mess and gunge everywhere are specifically there to just lift that engagement of the younger audience and keep them going and stop them getting to the second song in the show and needing to go to the toilet.
Yes. And obviously this year you're performing alongside Davood, who was in Eastenders, and then Kiera Nicole. What's it like? Yep. Obviously, I suppose this stage you're not quite in. Are you in rehearsals yet? Not quite there?
Not yet. We've got a couple of weeks to go before we start.
And obviously you've had the kind of photo shoots and everything. What's that like when you kind of have that moment where you kind of meet, but obviously you're still months away from performing it?
Well, it's really exciting to go to the photo shoot because you're going to meet the people you're going to be spending a whole Christmas with, which may not be a very long part of the year, but it is one of those parts of the year where you're not seeing family, you're not seeing your friends and stuff, so they become family and friends for that festive period. So you're just crossing everything that they're nice, and luckily this year they are brilliant. They're all lovely people, and we had such a hoot on the photo shoot, and there was lots of laughing. We were all crying with laughter at one point, which sets the tone brilliantly to start rehearsals and have a brilliant Christmas.
And obviously Fairfield Halls in Croydon, it's quite a big venue.
I'm so excited. I mean, it's probably the first Christmas bar COVID, which we won't talk about, that I'm actually at home for Christmas in the last 14 years. So I'm really, really looking forward to it. I can spend Christmas with my wife, which will be a change. Hopefully we don't fall out, and I can go and see my family as well, and it's just going to be brilliant. And it's so close to home, lots of people are going to come and support, whereas a lot of the time you're in all sorts in the northeast or wherever, and it's a long way for people to come. So this year they're all coming, and I can't wait.
Yes, and obviously I have a couple of corny Aladdin questions I'm going to throw at you.
Okay.
Obviously the obvious one: if you had a genie wishes, what will you ask for?
Goodness. If I had 3 wishes, what would I ask for? I could say something really corny, but I'm probably going to anyway. Oh God, that's so hard. Put me right on the spot. I think a permanent clean bill of health would probably be one. Panto every year because I love it. It's brilliant.
Yes.
And the third one, I should do something for somebody else, shouldn't I? Just eternal happiness for all.
There we go.
I mean, that might be a big ask for a genie, but we can see what they could do. I'll ask him at Christmas.
Please do. And then if you had a magic carpet that could travel you anywhere in the world, where would you like to visit?
Oh, well, funnily enough, my wife and I this year have just been on our honeymoon, which was a year after we actually got married. And we went to Mexico, and it was just so brilliant. And we had the best time. So our probably first stop will be straight back there to sit by the swimming pool. And we had the best time. It was just ultimate relaxation. And I'd love to be back beside the swimming pool with a nice cold beverage.
Yes. And then I ask everyone this in interviews. What does theatre and performing simply mean to you?
Oh, well, way to get deep at the end.
Yeah.
What does theatre mean? But I think theatre, it means a lot to me because it's just so important as a thing, as a form of entertainment, as a form of education, as a form of experience for everybody, really. And it's not often that you can genuinely say that there is a sector where there is something for everyone, whether that's from children's theatre to theatre travelling into schools, to relaxed performances in regional theatres, to the very big showbiz shows in the West End or Broadway, or very high-end plays that are on in town. There really is something for everybody, and the way that the industry is moving is very, very it's brilliant and very exciting. The way that a lot of producers are striving for accessibility and inclusivity, and really dragging the art form with the population into the modern century, really. But it is one of those things that I love, obviously, because I do it. Yes. And I'm very, very lucky to be able to do what I love, and regularly, which is really lovely. And I don't think I would change it, really. And obviously it's very difficult. There's lots of people trying to do theatre, and lots of people are doing theatre. And I don't think I've ever met anybody in our industry that doesn't feel that they're in a privileged position to be doing something they love for a living, because not everyone can say that. And there are hard times, of course, as there are in any occupation, any job, any field. But it makes it worth it when, like, Christmas comes around and you know you're going to Croydon to do Aladdin. The world seems like a much better place. And then when you see the audience's reactions and how they engage and what they can take away from a show, whether it's something completely educational or something bonkers like panto, it's just magnificent. And my main aim for Christmas is to hear at least one grown-up just go, huh, at one of the jokes, and then we're away. It's Christmas.
Amazing. And my final question for you, easiest one of them all: why should an audience member book for Aladdin?
Wow. Well, Aladdin specifically you should book for, and the one at Fairfield Halls in Croydon. No others. The only ones to come and watch. Because the story is so solid, and it's such a gorgeous story of the challenges of all the characters as you go through, the magic of the carpet and the genie, and all the wonderful places that you travel to in the show. And of course, you've got Wishee Washee and my mum, Widow Twanky, who run the laundry, and there's lots of mayhem and mess. And it's going to be such a great show. Having worked for UK Productions before, who produced the show, they're just such a brilliant bunch to work for. And I'm so lucky to be back working for them again. And the shows they put on are incredible. So the sets, the costumes, the lighting, the band, everything is done to a T, and it's all like a well-oiled machine, hopefully, by the time we open. And it's just designed for pure fun, entertainment, and to drag that audience along the journey with us and leave them at the end thinking, oh, now it's Christmas.
Amazing. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for your time. As you say, Aladdin is from the Saturday, the 16th of December till Sunday, the 7th of January, 2024 at the Fairfield Halls in Croydon.
Yes, come and see it. Come and book your tickets.